Listen up, Dungeon Masters. Your players are falling asleep at the table. What? Your wizard is going to use catapult to throw rocks at a monster again? How about instead of that, the wizard covers their body in rocks and hurls themselves? Now you're thinking like a badass using Battlezoo Bestiary, Elemental Storm. Filled with over 150 innovative elemental monsters, new elemental spells, and the monster parts system, allowing you to craft weapons, armor, and magic items from the creatures you slay, infusing elemental magic into them with 20 unique elements. Sure, there's classics like air, earth, fire, and water, but there's even weirder elements like music, space, and time. Doctor Who, Doctor You.
Wait, I'm a player, not a dungeon master. Why should I give a shit?
Well, Yahtzee, how about a brand new character archetype, the Monster Hunter? Climb on creatures, target specific body parts, and weaken them. Or just grab a small monster and use their attacks against the big one.
Ooh, you sold me at big ones.
Best of all, this archetype can fit along any class. Fighter Monster Hunter? Duh. Monk Monster Hunter? Sure. Wizard Monster Hunter? Well, it'll set the difficulty up, but go right ahead. Elemental Storm is filled with over 250 pages packed with stunning illustrations, detailed rules on the monster parts system, and so much more for your Pathfinder 2e and D&D 5th edition games. Click on the link below or head on over to kickstarter.rollforcombat.com to secure your copy of Battlezoo Bestiary Elemental Storm today, and turn your table from slow and crunchy to fast and furious.
Look at that. Derek, we're live. Can you hear me? Oh, he's got the wrong mic. He's got the wrong headset on. He doesn't know what he's doing.
I did have the wrong headset on. I'm sorry.
You did. Look at that.
Hello.
Hey, we're live. Believe it or not.
Well, hello everybody.
Hello everyone.
Sorry about that. I had to finish up a meeting and take my lunch a little early and rush over so I could hang out with you all fine folks.
You had to work.
I do. I have off the rest of the week. I am last minute going to Vegas. So
What?
Yep.
No. When are you going?
Like tomorrow.
Oh, you didn't let me know.
It happened so quickly, and then I knew you were traveling next week, and it was literally it's just me and my two buddies.
You could go see Kelsey.
Yeah, I don't think I actually ever got any of her contact information, but I'm only going to be there for a few days. It's fine.
All right.
So yeah, we're here for D&D Direct.
Yes, the D&D Direct. This is the first one they've had in a long time.
Yeah, but isn't it supposed to be just kind of like a annual thing or something?
I don't know. Nintendo does one like every couple of months. So
well, Nintendo's on top of their business.
It's the top of the game. Well, you're supposed to do it whenever you are announcing something new.
All right, so all right, I'm going to take 50%. Take the over, the under. Like, what are the likelihood that we hear something that's actually surprising today?
Oh, I think we're going to hear something.
All right,
something definitely. I mean,
now you mentioned that this was pre-recorded.
Yeah,
did you? I'm sure you. I don't know. Maybe you did a video. I don't even know. I was off paying attention. But like was it Sunday night or something, or Saturday night? Like in the midnight, they like released that thing about the D&D Beyond thing, the 2024 thing.
Yeah. Well, what happened is a couple of days ago, they basically. I kind of knew this was happening. I didn't even make anything of it because, from a technical point of view, trying to have two versions of like,
I mean, it's
a nightmare.
Pathfinder did.
It's a night. Well, no, they didn't. They didn't do anything. They don't run the archives of Nethys.
Okay, that's fair enough. You're like, so they were like, yeah, that's the great thing about Python. Like, no. All of our legacy content is totally backwards compatible. However, since we don't maintain or run any digital tools, that's easy for us to say. Just use the stuff that's in your book. But if you're Path Builder or if you're Archives of Nethys,
yes,
boy, you're going to have a lot of work on your hand. And it took them forever to do that.
Well, I work for the Foundry VTT modules for Roll for Combat. I work with the same team. I work with the Foundry team. And the guys who do my modules, they're the same ones who had to, do the remaster. They had to get Player Core 2 in and they had to get Starfinder playtest in the Foundry all at the same time, and there was like a module that came out. They were losing their minds. They were losing their minds.
We are living in an era where game changes create tech debt.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
it's a lot of work. Anyhow, I was talking to some of the VT, some of the tech guys at WoTC, because I'm getting more friendly with them, and they were killing themselves to get this in there. I know it's a lot of work, and you could say what you can, but I wasn't surprised, because the easiest thing to do is, well, that's not even easy either way, because like if you delete spells in 2014 that are like no longer in there, it's a nightmare. I'll leave it at that. It's a nightmare. And to basically do what they're saying, it's like, okay, we're going to have both 2014 and 2024. Like,
well, it sounded like originally, so now I've seen people that are upset the other way, because originally they said, hey, we're going to be we're treating this as a errata. And if you bought something from 2014 and it got updated or changed or revised in 2024, you're going to get that updated, revised change. Mm-hmm. And then people were like, okay, but what if I want to use the old 2014 version? And they were like, oh, you're going to have to set it up as a homebrew module.
Right.
And
they said it's going to have to be homebrewed.
Right. And so now they backed that way from that. And they said, okay, we're going to give you basically 2 toggles. You can switch. Do you want to use the 2014 version? Do you want to use the 2024 version? But then I've seen people going, okay, but does that mean I don't get the free upgrade to the 2024 thing? And they're basically like, no. Because they're like 2 separate systems. So
they are.
Like, if you have
we can't have it both ways.
I know. Well, people want it both ways.
I know.
So yeah, they but if you want the 2014 fighter, okay, great, you can have that. But if you want the 2024 fighter, even though you bought the 2014 fighter, you're going to now have to buy.
Yeah, but you know what? But that makes sense. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but those are 2 different products. And
listen, if RPG customers tend to be what I will call unrealistically entitled.
They want everything for free, and they want everything now.
They want everything for free. They want everything open source. There's no IP. I can use everything you've ever made. I should be able to take all your hard work, not pay any money from it, then take your hard work, which you didn't get any money from, then make my own version of a game, which, by the way, people will pay for, and that's totally fine.
Yeah, well,
and then if you decide to change anything, you're a bad guy.
Well, because quite frankly, they look at these books and they think it's words. How hard can it be?
Right.
It's just text.
And you know what? There's a reason. People are always like, Derek, when are you going to make something? Because words are hard. Okay, they're real hard.
Because it's very, very hard. We had a super chat. By the way.
I saw super chat.
Congratulating you.
Me? Oh.
Congratulations on Derek and guessing the name of the MCDM RPG on his January 9th live stream at 2 hours and 29 minutes. This live stream has 2 Notre Dameses. Did you really call it draw steel?
Yeah. So
No, you didn't.
Torrin, I think you're the one who
made
Torrin, I think you're the one who made a comment on YouTube, and I went and looked at it and checked it out, and I clipped it. Yes. So we're sitting around the studio. We had just played MCDM, and we're sitting around talking about the game. And we were talking about the social system. And I was like, well, I was like, at the end I go, and like how if you run out of patience, or I think is what the score was called, MCDM, it basically ends the social encounter and goes into a combat encounter. And I was like, after all, it's like, it's like Conan, you get to that point, patience runs out. Enough talk, and I said, right. And I go, and maybe that's what they want from the game anyways. They want everybody to just draw steel and, go into combat. And so I didn't necessarily call the game Draw Steel, but I did use the phrase draw steel in direct connection with MCDM.
So the
E. Armstrong, the D&D Direct starts in 20 minutes at noon,
right.
Noon Eastern, 9 Pacific.
Yes, we're just BSing here. But by the way, while we have everyone, so every Tuesday I give away a free player's handbook, and I have the names, by the way. So if you left a comment last week on last Tuesday's stream, I selected someone random. If you want to win one of these, I'm going to give them out all next month too. That all you need to do is like the stream and subscribe. You need to subscribe and leave a comment on this stream saying why you want the book. Okay, it's very important because a lot of people It was like there was some funny
I
comments.
want the book to burn it.
Well, if you want to do that, that's fine. Well, actually, what you're excited? Actually, what I keep asking is what you're excited about to see in the next book, because someone commented it's like our last stream. It's like here's two guys negatively talking about D&D, and then they're like, "Hey, here's a new book. Do you want it for free?" And I was like, "Yeah, kind of a little. It's a little sus, but whatever."
I mean, let me be very clear. Somehow, I don't know how this happened. I don't know how this happened. I don't play 5th edition D&D, okay? I've played in one campaign over the last 10 years. Like 10 years ago, we played for 6 months or something when it came out, and then we went back to Pathfinder 1 and 13th Age. I played in one campaign, went to level 20. Mm-hmm. I ran a campaign that went to like level 5 or 6. I've run a couple of low-level adventures. I own 8 D&D 5e books. Somehow, I have become like the D&D apologist because, number one, everyone assumes that because I own a lot of RPGs and I like indie games that I must hate 5e, and it's not true. And number two, it's crazy because like I see so many people like attacking and destroying this game, and I don't understand why, because I'm like, in the litanies of RPGs that have been created, like go read 1st edition AD&D sometime. Okay, you want to talk about a game that's like, I can't believe the dungeon master has to do anything. Go read BX D&D. The whole rule book is 30 pages long. You know, like what GM advice is there? It'll just say like, build a dungeon, have fun. I just think that people have put D&D up on this like unreachable pedestal, and they're just like destroying it. And I think there's a difference to be made about criticizing the company and criticizing the game. And
oh yeah, they're two totally separate things. Anyhow, so we have winners. So again, oh, by the way, leave a comment, subscribe, like, and leave a comment in the comments, not in the chat, by the way, because I don't the chat I'm not going to see again, but the comments in the video. So where it says comments. So all you need to do if I call out your name is just write me at, I think if you write to me at, well, if you write to me at help@rollforcombat.com or contact me, the best way is contact me on the Roll for Combat Discord by far, which is very big and very easy to get in touch with. I'm very easy to get in touch with there. I tested it. Help@rollforcombat.com does work. I tested it today because someone said it wasn't working. But anyhow, so the winner, there's 2 winners. The first winner is just leaving a comment, and it's Joseph Aversa 2494. So Joseph Aversa 2494, you won. And it looks like your name is Joseph Aversa. So get in contact with me, and I will send out your book with all the fun accoutrements that came with it at Gen Con. And I sent that one last week. And the other way to win, which is almost easier, is that if you pre-order the Kickstarter that goes live in 1 week. In 1 week, the Battlezoo Bestiary Elemental Storm Kickstarter goes live. Next Tuesday at 9 a.m., this goes live finally after... This is the longest preamble I've ever done. Normally, I'm testing something new because according to the experts, you're supposed to do it for months ahead of time. So I've been leading up to this Kickstarter for like 4...
All building up the hype.
I know, but it's a lot of work to build up 4 months of hype, okay? But it looks like it actually is. It's coming out really good. We actually put out the pre-release page. If you pre-order now, we gave people the backer kit page so you could see it. And we added, and boy, they really came out good. We're adding all these digital maps and animated tokens for every monster. And it's a lot. It's like 550 animated tokens and 50 plus digital maps. And I added, if you pre-order, you'll get an extra set of digital maps and an extra set of digital animated tokens. No, there's no other way to get them. So you have to pre-order. And it's $1. So for $1, you get this. You get this dice locket. You get extra maps. You get extra tokens. And you get the book. Why wouldn't you do it? It's $1, okay? Just go to Kickstarter, rollforcombat.com. Anyhow, Walter Wooten, you have a cool name. You have won.
That's a cool name.
Walter Wooten. If you get in touch with me, I'll send you your book.
He's the lesser known Walter White.
Well, I saw that. The Walter White, Walter Rooted. All right, you're not wearing your D&D shirt, you dork.
I forgot.
Look, I'm wearing mine. I specifically wore it because you said we were going to wear our D&D shirts.
I had to wake up. I had to.
You had to wake up.
I had to go get my blood drawn. I had to go get my blood drawn. Okay.
Why are we getting blood drawn?
I have to get blood drawn every couple months. Part of my medication and stuff.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I woke up. I went to. Do you know what Orange Theory is? Have you heard
it? It is very loud bicycling.
No, it's not, but it's very loud bicycling. No, it's actually running, weights, and rowing. And my wife does it. My daughter does it. I used to work out a huge amount, like massively. And so let's see. Can I get some Zoo stuff instead of Pathfinder? I do Pathfinder reasons. Zoo stuff. Sure. Just have to order it. You go to battlezoo.com, you get as much as you want. It's for 5e and Pathfinder. So I went, because I tore my shoulder and my knee, and since then I haven't really worked out that much, so I finally went, and they told me to go. I went. I knew it was going to be hard. Oh, God. 1 hour of, like, pure workout. So I knew I was going to be in pain today, but what I didn't expect, I thought my arms aren't in pain. It's my legs. And having your legs in pain is the worst because I can't even walk. I can't even walk.
I'm a big fan.
So much pain.
I used to, the key is you gotta go drop a couple bags of ice in the bathtub and then just sit in there for a few minutes. Oh, it just takes care of it right away.
Well, I might have to do that because I'm in so much pain. And then yesterday, I was thinking about you, Derek. I was like, wow, I really am always doing something. I went to the US Open yesterday, but if you go to the US Open, you have to walk a huge amount. And I mean miles. It's not like a few because it's very, like, parking's far away. It's big, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, and there's stairs everywhere. So good job of, like, first I go work out and then I'm in a huge amount of pain and then I walk miles yesterday. So
good, it helps. That's good. Walking helps relieve late onset muscle soreness.
But I'm in so much pain. I'm in so much pain. Of course, and then the hard sell. It's like, all right, you're gonna sign up and come back. I'm like, sure.
I used to religiously watch the U.S. Open. Like I never really watched the French, but I used to watch Wimbledon and U.S. Open. I would always miss the Australian because I like watching it live or live-ish, and like the Australian Open was very difficult. Okay. But I used to be really, really into watching tennis. Back in like
it's great. I went
back in like the Sampras into Federer into the Williams sisters era.
Oh yeah. Well, that's always
Andy
fun.
Roddick I liked Andy Roddick.
Well, if you ever come, it's a lot of fun. US Open's interesting because it used to be a dump. I mean, oh God, it was so gross, and I mean, it was just nasty. And a USTA or whoever said, if you don't clean it up, we're leaving. We're leaving New York. They literally were like, you got to redo it because this place is absolutely disgusting.
I mean, what do you want after a place called Flushing?
Hey, man, that's where the Mets play. They're right next to each other. So they redid it, and damn, it's nice now. Now it's nice.
Flushing Meadows
Flushing,
is
New
like,
York.
Flushing Meadows is like what you call a landfill that you have like repurposed into a park.
Yeah, well, that's what they did. They flushed it down the toilet. So we're going to start this in a few minutes.
Yep.
10 minutes.
I got to admit something, it's true. I will say this. For all the games that I play, free league games and Paizo games and weird indie games and Modifius games and Fantasy Flight games, all these games that I play, there's a part of me, a small part of me, not a small part of me, a reasonable sized part of me that always feels like that's me playing role-playing games versus me playing D&D. D&D feels different to me somehow. I feel more of a weight, of a legacy. Obviously there's a strong degree of nostalgia. It's the game I'm principally, foremost familiar with. But there's something kind of that's been very strange for me for the last 10 years or so when I really haven't been playing, D&D. And, the part of me, I think, that makes me almost feel disconnected from the hobby, just because, people are talking about this and that, and, oh, this class sucks and this class is great. And I'm like, I have no idea, I have I'm not.
Well, think about, I think here's
no clue what you're talking about.
Well, not only that, think about just even not that many years ago, like how many role-playing games were there? Really? Like that people were playing. It was
there were a lot, but there weren't that many.
Not really. There were a lot, but not
really. There were a lot, but there wasn't, And I, to be fair, I mean, the internet has helped tremendously because
the internet and YouTube, you now know about, and drive-through, and
exactly, drive-through, itch, like all these ways to get those products, because there's so many people who could never afford to print publish unless they do it like print on demand. But the other thing is like, okay, so you have a small niche RPG. All right, unless you live in some super major metropolitan area, chances are pretty good, there might be thousands of people playing that game. But they are scattered at, the player per square mile is quite low. But with online, you can find somebody to play in your Legend of the Five Rings game. Mm-hmm. You can find somebody from Washington, someone from the UK, someone from, from New York, someone from Florida, someone from Ohio and Michigan. And suddenly you've got 5 people who can get together and play this game that you could have basically never gotten together in your local area. And that critical mass was what was so important. Mm-hmm. And now that's not as much of a concern. No. Which I think is really good.
Well, that's the thing. There's so many games that people talk about and play, and it's hard to keep track of them all. I mean, it's kind of gotten out of control. That's what happened to board games too. Like board games were, for a long time, there was, just a couple that people played really. I mean, a lot came out, but not that many. Now, I watch a lot of the board game channels, and they're even saying they just can't keep up. It's impossible.
Yeah, it's too much.
There's just they're like something like 50 games come out every day or something.
It's gotten out of control. I will say that. It's like
too many games. And then they'll even talk about, what's fascinating is they'll talk about games like that were huge hotness and you never hear about again. It's so rare for these games to come around and then stick around, so.
I mean, that's the real power of D&D is that, some of these other games come and go, and they might be the hotness for a year or 2 or 3, but to break into that, that sort of zeitgeist of games that are sort of perennial is very difficult, and it doesn't mean that those are bad games. It just means that at the end of the day they don't have that sense or that weight of history.
Yeah. All right, I think I switched over. I think there's going to be a little countdown beforehand, so.
Well, the premiere starts in 60 seconds, which will be then the 5-minute countdown.
Right, the 5-minute countdown.
And, I will say this as we kind of get ready for this. What's the word I'm looking for? Actually, I better pull up this D&D Direct thing here. There we go. I am I like new editions. Let me put it that way, especially after 10 years. I think that, and in fact, I think 3rd edition probably had the best thing of it, where it's like the game comes out, you have it for like they release a couple of books, you have it for like 3 or 4 years, and then you do a revision. Pathfinder 2nd edition just did this. Well done. And then you get to play out the game for another, 4 or 5 years. 7 to 10 years. Boom, new edition. And take what you've, created, iterate on it, try something new, try something bold, try something daring, build on the past, but don't be afraid of the future. And I just feel like when I this idea that they keep talking about how there will never be a new edition of D&D. There's just D&D forever. That is very disappointing to me, because I look at AD&D 2nd edition, I look at 3rd edition D&D, I look at 4th edition D&D, and then I even look at 5th edition D&D, and I go, these were, fantastic changes to the hobby, and we have these games, and I like that I own them. I like that I got a chance to play them. I like that it was different. I don't want to play the same game for 30 years. So I like new editions.
I know that's what I was saying. It's like one of the big reasons. I don't know. I haven't felt like super excited about this. Is that I kind of wish it was a new edition rather than just a it's first edition or third, whatever they're making it. It's the same edition forever and ever. We're never gonna redo it, but whatever. So hold on, I'm just adjusting the layout here so it looks correct.
Oh, there we go. You gotta love the polarizing of me. Bad Mojo says Derek is batting 1,000, and Jose is like, "Bully Derek is on, hard pass."
Bully? You're not a bully.
I'm a bully.
Bully of who? I never understood that.
Yeah,
I know. You know what?
It's the internet, Steven.
I know. I'm like, if everyone likes you, you're doing something wrong.
If everyone likes you, you're doing something wrong, or they're about to find out.
Although a lot of people, although I don't have too many enemies that I know of. What is this video about? No one knows. That's why we're going to watch this. That's not true. I kind of know what it's about. But
I mean, they kind of have hinted at it.
Derek tells it like it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, my opinions are wholly my own. I don't expect anyone to agree with me, and I certainly don't need you to. Is this intro AI generated?
This? Oh no, what they do is they actually have pre-made intros and you can choose which one you want.
Yeah, they're really bad, and the premiere thing is really annoying, and I don't really like how YouTube does its premieres, but that's just me.
Yeah, well. Do you like anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you like anything?
You, Steven.
What?
I said I like you.
Oh, fair enough. There we go.
I like Vegas.
I know. I do like Vegas. I haven't been in a long time. I love Vegas. I gotta go.
No.
I keep going to places like Indianapolis over and over again, and Ohio. I keep going to Ohio and Indy. It's like the same place over and over again. There's no difference. Columbus, Ohio, and Indianapolis, they're basically the same place. And Pittsburgh.
I mean, Dice Media Group, I do agree with you. I think that there is a non-gaming aspect to the gaming hobby that is very important. The social aspect, I think, sitting down with your pen and paper or painting miniatures, physical dice collection. I do think those things are important. And I agree that we have lost a little bit in that respect.
So I guess when this goes live, we're all on the same channel for audio. So we'll just, I guess, stay kind of quiet and then we can comment. I'm going to take notes and then we can talk about it after. But you could type
How long
away.
Is this?
What?
How long is it?
Oh, it's only 15 to 20 minutes, they said.
Oh, okay, great. Good.
Yeah.
It's the video and epilepsy test. I know there should have been a warning.
There actually is a warning when you set it up because you can choose which one you want. And one of them, it's like, it does say flashing lights and stuff. So there we go. That's the next controversy. Was D&D trying to trigger people?
No.
Why did their preload have flashy images?
Now, Bane says being sent to Ohio is a punishment. As an Ohio native, born and raised, I went to school here, I live here, I work here, I can agree.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to, it's like, see, that's the thing. As a New Yorker, we're always proud and happy and can't stop talking about how cool New York is. And as Ohioan, you're always apologizing.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I don't need to, don't come. I mean, I think it's fine.
I actually like Ohio. I like Ohio a lot. I like Ohio. Right. Well, it's funny. I was talking to someone and they're like, oh, where are you going? Oh, here we go. Shh.
You learn a lot about people when they are playing pretend in a world that isn't real.
I played first when I was 7.
I started about 8 or 9.
Since college, I started playing in 1991.
I have run games for my mom, my dad, my sisters, my friends.
He got me hooked, and I've been playing ever since.
This was like some of the best times I've ever had.
It's limitless.
I ended up throwing a boot at one of my party members, and he's my husband now.
And that's the thing that connects all of us, is that we all love D&D.
We've made something. It's its own thing. That's the joy of collaborative storytelling.
It's almost like the metaphor for life, right?
D&D is life.
this group was the thing that kept me going.
The good friends in this life that I have, I found playing D&D.
This is our tribe. D&D is our tribe.
I think it is important.
You could actually let your imagination go wild.
Here's a bunch of
The
celebrities.
world is your oyster. The possibilities are endless.
I'm doing you a favor!
The D&D watching people on stage is wild.
Today, the D&D audience is bigger and more varied than it's ever been before.
When we can come together in the same room, it's a different relationship. It's a different bond.
So what do you want to do?
We have rewritten the player's handbook from beginning to end. So, yeah, if someone asks us what's new, yes.
Making the sections up front that are all about welcoming you into the game and teaching you what the game is before you actually start building a character are hugely important.
This is the first player's handbook in the game's half-century of life that teaches you how to play before it tells you anything else.
Just super approachable. It feels like it's
I
way
do
more
agree with that.
welcoming
I think
than
games
ever.
should not start with character creation.
I love making changes to the game based on what the fans have said.
The cat has dark vision.
Yes.
Yeah. The cat has dark vision.
Cat shouldn't have dark vision.
It's so stark, the difference between what we had in 2014, what we had in 2024, and it almost feels like there's more life and fun potential, and there's more energy that's just waiting to be released in the 2024 Player's Handbook.
We have brand new spells, enhanced spells, brand new feats, character options that weren't there before, more subclasses than were available before, ways to customize your character that you never could before. Your character's background now influences who your character is through the life of that character in ways that it never did before. Every species option in the book has been redesigned. It is a complete reimagining of the book. Which is
fine, update it.
When we embarked on the redesign of the Player's Handbook, one of my big priorities for our work was to create a way for our weapon-focused characters to engage with the game in new tactical ways. We created Weapon Mastery to give our fighters, rogues, rangers, paladins, barbarians, and others, really any character who's all about using weapons, a set of tactical gameplay options that they never had before. We wanted them to feel like, just as our spellcasters do, that each round they have a set of options that can meaningfully alter the tactical situation in a battle. We've been working with our friends on the D&D Beyond team so that when you go in and you've purchased the new Player's Handbook, you will be able to enjoy Weapon Mastery on a character who has access to that feature.
Everything is new in the Player's Handbook. I think every piece of art is new. Everything's illustrated, so the players get to see trying to support the text as much as possible with options for your characters, options for your spells, options for everything you can play as, basically.
Being able to identify with all the characters that are available makes them feel like they're part of it, and they can visualize it better if they can see themselves in these worlds.
The rules glossary in the Player's Handbook is a super handy reference. You can just go and alphabetically find whatever crunchy detail of the rules you need to know in the moment.
A number of the people who've already seen the book often say, this whole book is great, but I would buy this book just for the rules glossary.
The 2024 Dungeon Master's Guide is really a top-to-bottom rewrite of the 2014 Dungeon Master's Guide. It is chock full of advice for Dungeon Masters, old and new, for you to really take it and run with it.
There is a big, fat honkin' treasures chapter in the DMG, which is not surprising to anybody who's seen DMGs of old. We've got 100 pages or so of magic items in the DMG. Many of them are new, just so we have a very well-rounded selection of magic items to choose from.
I think the combo of the PHP and the DMG combined really feels like something that will be way easier for a new player to experience, from whether you want to be a DM or a player.
There's so much more art in this book than there was in the last one. And 99% of the art in this book is new.
Dragons are cool, and we like dragons.
This is by far the most monster-packed monster manual D&D has ever had. Part of that, frankly, is when I was drafting the original outline, I just couldn't stop. Yes, the monster manual is about giving you the rules for the monsters and cool art. Really, for me, it's this massive tome of inspiration.
I'm working on the monster manual. I think about when I was a kid picking up the book and being like, this is the coolest creature I've ever seen. I want to make a campaign with this in it. Or like, I'm just obsessed with how a displacer beast looks. I want to make this monster manual amazing.
I'm so excited for other people to be able to read and engage, and just opening the doors for more and more folks to jump in on this. It's going to be so much fun.
We're working on translating the Player's Handbook and the other core books into French and Italian and German and Spanish.
It's so wonderful when we can have translated versions to make it easier for the next generation of D&D fans in other parts of the world to jump right into the game and start playing.
Genuinely, I love this game, and I think it helps so many people from a role play perspective, a friend perspective, and just a way to hang out with your friends to get to know new people. And if we can let you play better or find new things, or even better, find new friends and find social groups and express yourself in a way that you've never been able to do, that's great.
So when we think about D&D into the future, one of the ways that we're thinking about it is, what can we offer our fans that are the best versions of things that they've never seen before and things that they may have experienced but they want more of?
The Dragon Anthology book will be the first anthology and adventure book for the new 2024 rules.
This anthology is all about dragons in dungeons, and it's kind of surprising how many people say that they've actually never fought a dragon in D&D.
It is a book of 10 short adventures that all feature dragons in dungeons.
I applaud this.
We have an amazing new starter set that we are creating. We really lean into using components to teach people how to play.
I'm always fascinated by playing with new players. So the first time that a group sees a beholder and doesn't know how many eyes it has or what they do, it's going to be an epic moment for them. For the context of this box, it's in a place called the Borderlands, and it takes the players to kind of these three settings. There's the keep on the Borderlands, there's the wilderness itself, and then there is the Caves of Chaos that sets them forth on this, this awesome journey that they can have for years and years and years, and hopefully bring that starter experience to someone else down the line.
They also support.
We can't say enough about how grateful we are to the local game store community. So how do we set it up so that they can create these amazing, beautiful play events? Part of the way that we're doing that is game stores will now get early access to our releases 2 weeks early. And those releases will be supported by play programs so that a store owner can go, hey, you've got your book early, and now here's some adventures to play along with it with all of your friends in the store. One thing I love the most in this world is that's when I can bring Magic and D&D together. They're both just so special to so many folks. And Magic is going to highlight D&D's 50th anniversary with some secret lair drops today.
What's your favorite part of D&D?
The minifigs. The next step for us with LEGO is really to explore what it looks like beyond a major set. And so we're doing 12 minifigs. Those are going to come out on 9/1, so very, very, very soon.
Hey, nerds.
How
you guys
exciting
like
is
Magic
that?
and Lego.
To be part of a community of authors and creators that grow my game table more than just the people sitting at it is so special.
That's kind of been the dream, is to be a part of that. We're very excited to just add our voice and our passion to the bigger picture.
We're so excited to have so many people making and sharing their D&D content with other people. We're thrilled to announce some of our partnerships with creators that you know and love, whose content will be coming to the D&D Beyond marketplace.
Part of our reimagining of D&D's core books was us also wanting to return to D&D's most popular setting, the Forgotten Realms.
We are super excited about the Forgotten Realms guide. There hasn't been a player's guide in 5th edition.
It's too much to fit into one book. So our return to the realms is going to be in 2 books. One tailor-made for dungeon masters, and the other a book that is tailor-made for players, but also of use to our DMs.
We start the new player options. Lots of great crunchy stuff for players to dig into to make new characters. New subclasses, new feats, new backgrounds, new spells, new kinds of spells. And then a chapter on factions that player characters can belong to. A lot of these will be factions that you'll recognize, like the Harpers or the Red Wizards of Thay, and maybe a couple of new ones that maybe got promoted.
Then over in the Dungeon Master focused book, that's where we're really going to dig into different parts of the realms.
If you want to do urban fantasy, well, we've got Baldur's Gate just for you. If you want to go do survival horror, you can take your adventure off to Icewind Dale. We've got sort of classic D&D fantasy where you have all these little isolated towns that live around this giant elvish mega dungeon that you can go into and explore. There's the Dale lands for you. And maybe you're having some fairy stories or you're having conflict that you can resolve without violence. That's all the Moonshae Isles. And then finally, the land of Kalimshan.
Each one of those both delivers on a different play style and just almost a different biome and like world that you can inhabit from a fantasy perspective.
I'm thrilled to be creating source books for players and DMs that will invite them back into that world in a way that we haven't done in years.
We're really looking to set up a future where everyone has this like shared resource of tools and ways to connect and play together so that they can take that experience and share it with their friends, share their creativity together, and create the next 50 years of D&D.
I saved you, and I'm here to save you again.
So many of us played Baldur's Gate 3.
What in the sweet hells were you thinking?
This is the opportunity for people to continue their adventures in this new way to play D&D.
We have this 3D sandbox where you can bring your friends and play D&D with all of these cool 3D environment pieces and miniatures that come with the product. You can start experiencing a role-playing game, but in a more digital-friendly format.
You go take those characters, Asterion and Karlak, you get to play with them and just tell your own tale.
Where people who may be used to video games actually get to see the thing that you're talking about instead of just trying to imagine it.
And it's not meant to replace your imagination. In fact, you actually need a lot of imagination still.
You actually just pick up the miniatures and move them around, and you can build things like you would build at your table with 3D terrain pieces. You have 3D characters that you can look at, manipulate, dress up. What we're trying to do is get the most fast, fun, accessible version of the game.
It's basically playing D&D on your own virtual tabletop. Just easy, fast, fun. If you played with minis before, you're just playing with minis here. It's just a place for you to connect with your friends online whenever you want.
I like that.
We're creating a lot of really cool assets so you can create these worlds and tell your own story.
The tools aren't just about building the walls. You have to bring life inside that dungeon. And of course you can make monsters, but we want you to be able to add sound effects, visual effects.
The adventure that we created to start your journey in the 3D sandbox is called Danger in Dunbarrow.
This is like the best starter pack that's ever existed for Dungeons & Dragons.
You can also bring in any character from D&D Beyond, and it will bring in all of your equipment and all of your abilities and spells, and you can use those by clicking on the buttons.
And we also have a thing we're calling the Mini Maker, different scale, sizes, the look of it.
The awesome thing about D&D is you can continue to get like magical items, and then you can go back to your character and redress them up over and over again and show your individuality within the group, and you just feel the progression.
We're really trying to capture this toyetic vibe. So all of our assets are created in a way that's like actually buying like a high-end mini or figure. We want it to feel kind of painted, but kind of realistic, trying to capture that beautiful in-between where art and figures and games come together.
We have an idea that's called a module. It's a D&D mini adventure meant to last a few hours just so that you can get a taste or get a part of your adventure. We didn't want to tell the whole story for you, so we give you these places. You want to go to a graveyard? Well, here's a graveyard. You want to go to a mine? You want to go to town? You can then assemble them how you want, but each has a pre-made story in it, characters, adventures, and so it's a great place to start. You're modding games more than making everything whole cloth, which is just faster and more fun for most people.
But we also have a builder, which is awesome. So you can create your own dungeon, you can create your own forest.
The level builder is sort of like the best miniature set that you could have, and it's at your fingertips.
It comes in a variety of different kit pieces, so you can snap together multiple walls.
It's really strong for DMs because you can use the level builder to make something very quickly, or you can spend as much time as you want to on it, whatever story they're trying to tell.
The Dungeon Master has to have secrets, has to be able to surprise the players. We have secret doors and traps, right? We have gizmos like, lifts that go up and down, all sorts of crazy stuff. Really make that storytelling dynamic.
2D tokens are our way to let you bring in like every monster that can put any image on there, or you can bring in your own image and create a unique character.
You don't even have to play Dungeons and Dragons necessarily, right? If you want to throw in your own custom rule set or another game, we roll dice, we have toys, like go crazy. We're starting with Dungeons and Dragons, but there's so much more you can do with it. All sorts of kinds of games and all sorts of types of toys that we want to add over the years.
We're opening it up so you can bring in any kind of character you want, like fight Drist against a robot. You'll be able to do that with all the groups that we're working with.
It's great because we're using those characters and we're telling stories, but we're giving them over to the players too, so you can really play out what you've always wanted to do. The big deal is it wouldn't be Dungeons and Dragons if you couldn't share it, right? There's a huge creator community. They're the ones who've kept the game growing and going. So people are gonna be able to share these with each other. We're integrated with D&D Beyond. It's able to very easily organize information and create characters so that you can play that same character either in a book, on a piece of paper, on the web, or in this 3D immersive world. And if you have an original 2D map, you can easily upload that through D&D Beyond's map feature. With just one click, you can share that map into Project Sigil, drop down your minis, and keep right on playing. We're starting off on PC, but we want to go everywhere because we want to connect players across mobile, console, and I don't know, maybe even your fridge. Wherever you want to play, we want to be there at your fingertips. This 3D immersive experience is going to be available for free to try out, but also players are going to get it. DMs are going to get even more advanced tools, and we're going to offer even deeper, richer experiences for those who really want to dedicate themselves to the 3D side of this. Whether it's D&D Beyond, the books, or the 3D experience, we just want to make it easier, faster, put more creative control in your hands. We want to thank you for being a part of the exciting development of Project Sigil and invite everyone with a D&D Beyond account to join the closed beta coming this fall. Sign up for free right now at dndbeyond.com/project-sigil. And as an extra bonus, when you pre-order the 2024 digital and physical horror rulebook bundle, you will get this awesome Gold Dragon mini to kickstart your Project Sigil collection.
Is that it?
I think that's it. That is it.
One big long ad.
Yeah, of course it's an ad. What do you expect? So,
I don't know.
Of course it was going to be an ad.
Information.
There was
of
information.
Substance.
Wait, I do want to. There is one part I do want to go back to. So we could talk about. Now we can talk. I don't know. I personally hate when people talk over these things too. So,
if we're not talking, then you could just go watch it on the D&D site.
It's you're 100% right, but we can do both. So anyhow, wait, I did want to show. You asked if there was a picture of me. No, I don't think I was in it, but I saw some people that
They were definitely interviewing people there at Gen Con.
Oh, that was Gen Con. That was
right where we were.
Oh, right, yeah. That's in fact where we did our interview.
Where we got an interview. Yeah, it's just different interview. But
I mean, yeah, I'm kind of surprised they didn't put the names of everyone. I mean, I know who these people are, but
right, I don't. I did not. I mean, obviously, I know. James
Kyle,
Wyatt.
we had dinner with,
right,
and it's like
we had dinner.
Yeah, so.
But again, they definitely seem to be doing a lot of like nostalgia baiting, and the first 5 minutes were just like, isn't D&D so great? We've all grown up playing D&D, and D&D is amazing, and D&D is part of our life now. D&D is so important to you, isn't it? So important to you? Tell us how important it is to you. It's so important to you, and so important. Just to remind you that it's so important to you.
It is important to you.
Yes, and then
You have an entire channel based on it.
It's true. I have an entire life based off of it.
Yeah, so you're like, how dare you remind me how important this is to me?
Well, I'm saying I don't need a D&D Direct to try to manipulate me emotionally.
Hey, man.
Any case, and then we've got a Dungeon Master's Guide coming out.
Yes.
I thought they were supposed to be going to Greyhawk. It sounds like they're going back to Forgotten Realms.
Well, they're going to Greyhawk in the DM guide.
Oh,
in the DM guides, they have different sections for different areas. But is campaign settings really what people need? Like I am. Look, there have been many DMGs that have come out over the years. 4th edition DMG, probably the best, honestly. Although 3rd edition DMG, pretty good as well. I have always taken umbrage at these DMGs that are like, here's a campaign setting. Here's how you create your own cosmology. Here's your own pantheon creation. Here's how you create a complete world from scratch. Like that is just way too much. That shouldn't even be in the Dungeon Master's Guide. I feel like that should be like in a World Builder's Guide or something. I just find that practical, actionable advice for actually how to run one of these games is far more useful. And I don't know if they're going to necessarily go back on that. And then a lot of DMGs just end up being like, and here's all the advanced rules that we didn't put into the player's handbook. Well, that's why I was very excited to get the DMG. And actually, let's just go through it. I just want to stop on the page that shows where everything is coming out. So we have that as because what the hell was that? Man, I am failing. I am failing finding stuff.
Cyberdroid, I like world building too, but man, you got to learn how to crawl before you can run. You're sitting down to play D&D, you buy a DMG for the first time. You got a lot of other things you need to take care of before you start worrying about wholesale creating your own world.
Well, keep in mind I'm having a real hard time here. So, which is funny, I took notes too. That they were using the same layout as the original Dungeon Master's guides, and not Dungeon, but the Player's Handbook was the same Player's Handbook layout from all the previous ones, and they just were like, if it ain't broken, don't fix it, and they just kept it the same. And then, of course, things have changed a lot in the last 10, 20 years, and now they've completely decided, man, we have to redo these books and the layout and the structure because they weren't that good to begin with, but no one said anything because we didn't really have feedback in the internet and blah blah. So they totally redid the layout. So,
I mean, part of my core issue with most RPG books is there's sort of, and as a publisher of role playing game books, you can certainly appreciate this, but there's two problems. The one problem is the book. It's two separate problems. One problem is the book has to be something in theory that people will sit down and read. On the other hand, the book is a reference manual. The book is a, at the table while you're in, hands deep in dice, something that you need to quickly reference. So it has to sort of serve both those roles as being a reference guide, but also somehow a tome that you might sit down with. That's the first problem. The second problem is the book, and this is why basic D&D is really smart. The book has to both be for the first time a person's picking up the book and they've never even heard of Dungeons and Dragons before, and they're picking up your book, but it also has to be for somebody who's been playing D&D for 40 years. And so it's like, how do you balance, those problems? And it sounds like, from what they were saying, that they are putting more of an emphasis on teaching the game to a new player, someone who's never opened the game before, and that's fine. I get that they want to increase accessibility, but isn't that what starter sets are for? Isn't that what a basic D&D box set is for? The core book, in my opinion, should be kind of unaccessible. It should be more of an advanced player's guide where, because even if you are brand new to the game, you're only going to be brand new to the game for a few months.
Wait, before you keep going.
All right.
We have 450 people here right now. If you leave a comment and subscribe to the channel before this is over, I'm gonna choose someone today to get the free. I'm gonna send out this free Player's Handbook to you today, literally. So don't go anywhere. like and subscribe. Leave a comment, not a chat. Leave a comment in the comments. Say why you want the book. And before the stream ends, I will choose one person live right now. Right now. Because that's how many books I have. Because we have 450 people here. Today. That's right. As in right now. And I will literally go to the post office and put it in the mail today. How about that? So
generous.
I got a lot of them. You see how many I have behind me? I got a lot of books, baby.
Although you can't leave a comment when the stream is active, just FYI. So you have to stick around to the end.
Oh, you can't leave a comment when the stream is active?
You cannot.
What a pain in the ass.
YouTube.
Oh.
You know, they're only making billions of dollars.
In that case, leave a comment in the chat and I'm going to choose someone randomly. There we go. Sorry. I didn't know that. Gosh. I did not know that. Yeah. Leave a comment. Leave a comment in the chat. I'm going to select someone randomly. And don't go anywhere. And just leave a comment on why you want the book. Why you want the book. Why you want the book. Why you want it. And I will send it to you. And you will have it before anyone else.
But it's fine.
What?
I don't know how you're going to pick it randomly.
Because I have because my Stream Elements has all the comments.
Oh, your Stream Elements. Yeah, you're right. Okay, you're right. It does. It does.
And by the way, also, I'm not giving this out, but look what I got. I got an extra shirt. Maybe I'll give one of these out. How about that? This shirt is.
It is a nice shirt.
This shirt is awesome. The one I'm wearing on. So leave a comment.
Your chat rate just shot through the roof.
You think? Well, hey man, and don't forget to like too. Like and subscribe. All that YouTube jazz, and I will.
By the way, we did have a super chat here from Itsy Bitsy Spider. I love how they took away stores getting early copies only to make a big deal about giving it back. It reminds me of there's an episode of The Simpsons where like Homer loses his job or something. This is how old I am. Homer loses his job or something, and he's asking all the kids to make sacrifices and give up their stuff. And Bart goes, "Dad, I'm going to start smoking, and then I'm going to give that up." And then Homer goes, "Good job, son. Quitting smoking is one of the hardest things you could ever do."
Yes.
And Lisa goes, "But he didn't do anything." And Homer goes, "Didn't he, Lisa? Didn't he?" So yeah, you gotta love hey, Amazon has the book of a month before you do, and they're selling it for less. But we gave it away. We took it away from you from FLGS. No more FLGS exclusives. Now they're like, but now we're giving it back.
Well, because a lot of flags were stopping carrying the books. That's why. So
yeah, well,
and they realized that they had to.
I pre-ordered mine through my FLGS.
So did I. I actually pre-ordered.
So here we go. We got Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master's Guide, Monster Manual. I mean, I would prefer, I will admit, for those to be closer together.
Well, they did that to make money because they needed 3 different quarters of income.
Jesus Christ, you're so right.
Of course I'm right. No, seriously, you need 3 quarters of income.
I hate the world that we live in so much.
Am I wrong?
No,
of course I'm not wrong. Let
me tell you about a game.
By the way, any questions?
Do you know what this is? Okay.
Make sure if you super chat, we'll get it to immediately.
Do you know what this is?
A 4th edition.
This is the 4th edition core rulebook collection. Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master Guide, and Monster Manual. It all came out on the same day, people.
Well, they used to do that except for a few reasons.
No, because even 3rd edition, there was like a month between each of the books.
That's true, they did. No one's going to remember this in a few years. B, they needed to print them all. C, they needed to actually get it into the digital. Here's the thing, and I am not disagreeing with you, but think about it. To get all 3 books done at the same time is a lot of work. To then also get all 3 books entered into D&D Beyond is impossible. Like seriously, they literally don't have enough people to do it. It's not possible.
They did it in 99 and they did it in 07. So
Nope.
Yeah, they did.
No, I meant no as in no, they're not doing it now. Not back then.
But all that being said, our buddy Trey's here. Hey, Trey. No full adventure for 2024, just an anthology. Well, at least that has been announced. I will say that the Dragon Anthology, That to me, I mean, they were speaking my language there. That sounded like
Oh, dude. Okay, wait.
Let me like a nice
You're doing a lot of
rant.
talking. Let me start talking. Player's Handbook, we knew that. Dungeon Master's Guide knew that. Monster Manual, they actually showed a lot, but we kind of know what we're getting with the Monster Manual. Monster Manuals, as someone who's an expert in making monster manuals since I'm up to my third, and let me tell you, oof, they're a lot of work. It's very hard to actually make a monster manual because you have to decide what's core, what's like, because it's like, okay, we have to put in orcs, we have to put in goblins, we have to put in kobolds, we have to put in dragons. Like, you have to, there's like 300 to 400 monsters you quote have to put in because they're the core monsters, and then it's like what extras, and before you know, because they're going on, oh, we want to put all the monsters in. Actually, a good like 75 to 80% of those monsters were already decided before the book was even announced. It's the extras that they might fit in there, and that's what happens with monster manuals. That's why they actually come out with usually Monster Manual 2 or 3, because Monster Manual 1 is just the core monsters. And then the Monster Manual 2 and 3 is like, okay, extras that we can figure out and get in there. Which is why third-party people like myself who are coming out with things like, oh, I don't know, the Battlezoo Bestiary Strange and Unusual or Elemental Storm do really well because we have new monsters. Dragon Anthology? Okay, so these is what I was interested in. Oh boy. As someone who literally just came out with Secret Dragons, by the way, Fairy Dragons should be out within the next week, and you'll be able to order that on Battlezoo.com. It's almost done, actually. Is that dragons sell, and they always sell. Like, it's my best-selling book. Is you can play a dragon as a class, as a species. And it sells. It freaking sells. They sell very well. So when they said, oh, it's a Dragon Anthology adventure, I was like, they're pretty smart. I mean, that's a very, very good idea. And the reason they're anthologies is because nobody wants adventures that take you from level 1 to 20 anymore, or level 1 through 10. And not in D&D. They just don't.
Tell Paizo that, yeah.
Well, even in Paizo,
that's true. They have been coming out with these more like
smaller ones.
Smaller ones. That's true. That's true. And even like the Rune Lords one that just got released.
They all want tiny adventures. They want small adventures just because the way people play now, and they want anthologies because they want people. The way they found out is that people like to take these and add them into their own games or do them quickly.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
The future is going to be mini adventures. And that doesn't surprise me.
You know, I mean, that's also even like when you look at the 2024 PHB. You know, I call them like mini capstones. Most classes get basically a kind of a capstone at 10 now, and it doesn't say capstone, but it is a capstone because they think they understand that most people like level 10 that's it. You know, like that might as well be 20. And there's a lot of RPGs out there where 10 is the new 20.
Yeah. By the way, don't forget, leave a comment in the stream, subscribe, and like, and I'll be giving out the Player's Handbook before the stream is over to someone for free. And I will literally I'm going to go get lunch at Chopped, and right next to Chopped is the post office. I will mail this out to you right away. How about that? For crazy. So that's a good idea. I thought that was good. The starter set. Come on, you had to feel pretty good when they're like, "Oh, we're coming out with the starter set, and it has Keep on the Borderlands and the clans, Caves of Chaos in there."
Yeah,
come on.
I mean, that's perfect. I don't know why it's coming out a year from now.
Because it takes them. Because
that should be the first thing that they drop.
know, but they messed up. They messed up their timing. I guarantee you, between the OGL and Baldur's Gate 3. They were totally rearranging the chairs on the ship, you know, whatever. They were like, everything had to be redone. Okay. There was a lot of problems because they did not expect that. They didn't expect any of that to happen, and they've had to like reorganize everything. So
now the only reason I bring this up is because I will say that, you know, I think that, I think it's one of the greatest adventures of all time. But it is a little strange to me. We'll see what they do with it. But it also harkens back to a time and a type of adventure that, quite frankly, is not very popular anymore. Or at least my perception is that it's not very popular anymore. You know, somebody was talking, I don't remember who it was, James Wyatt or
it was James.
Jeremy Crawford or whatever. But somebody was saying like, we have a lot of players who've never even fought a dragon before.
Oh yeah, that was Amanda, I think. But
and part of the reason for that is like, the game is called Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, but that's true. I actually know that for a fact.
I know a lot of people who don't play in dungeons, nor do they fight dragons.
Well, because okay, as someone who's literally ridden more probably dragons than anyone, like seriously, like I'm coming out with 10 dragon books at this rate. 10. I know dragons really, really well. I've designed like 100 dragons, more than 100, 200 dragons. They're very hard. Okay. You know what the equivalent of? I'm trying to think. What is it equivalent? Okay, in Magic, you know how like the rares. So there's a secret math of like how many abilities or how powerful something is. And like in Magic, rares are like 1.5 or something or 2 times more powerful than a common. Secretly, like they have more. They're just more powerful. And
I don't know if that's a secret.
Well, okay, but you know what I mean. Okay, it's not a secret. But if you're not into the theory crafting, you might not know that. So
sure.
So the theory craft is that they have anywhere from like 1.5 to 2 times more power, abilities, complexity, and so forth. So you get a lot more bang for your buck for those rares.
You know the 3E dragon story?
No.
Okay.
Oh God, we're going into story time. He's not going to let me finish my thing.
No. So when this book came out, all right, this is the 3rd edition, 3.0. This is the 3.0 monster manual. 3rd edition introduced the CR system that everybody knows now, right? Challenge rating system. They brought back for 5th edition. And if you read this book, they were basically like, the CR systems work this way. You can use this monster against this party. It'll be balanced.
Yeah.
They deliberately undervalued the dragons. So like a dragon, like a red dragon, a small red dragon or something like that should have been like a CR6, but they deliberately made it a CR4. So that way, when dungeon masters would use it, the dragons would always feel like, wow, this thing is so dangerous. Wow, this thing is so deadly. Wow, this thing is so powerful. It fits the fiction and the fantasy of fighting a dragon. Yeah, even though it's like, but the book says it's balanced, but it was so tough. Well, it's a dragon.
Yeah, that's an old trick. So actually, when we design dragons, so I'll tell you some background. So whenever we design monsters are normal. When you design, there's certain types of monsters that aren't normal though. Like normally if you do something like a giant or a titan or something like that, those are usually a little bit more powerful than usual. And so you usually make them, say a 1.25 or a 1.5. So they're definitely more powerful. Dragons are way more powerful. They're just designed, they're supposed to be just, as you said, if they're supposed to be a CR10, we designed them for CR12. Like they do not balance. If you had any CR10 monster fight a CR10 dragon, the dragon should win 10 out of 10 times. Like it's not supposed to be balanced. And it's tricky to do that. It's actually very hard to do that, to make it. But the point being is that does cause problems when you design. And also dragons are supposed to work solo. They're supposed to be able to fight, and then they're not only supposed to be hard. They're supposed to be hard, fight an entire party, stand on their own, and give them a challenge. So from a technical
that sounds like
point
that
of
would be
view,
really difficult to do. It would probably be very beneficial if
very
the
hard to
game were to create a special class of monster that has unique rules and mechanics that's designed specifically to support it as being a solo creature, a boss type, if you will.
Yeah, almost like maybe if they did that in 4th edition Dungeons and Dragons or something.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Well, we do that. We just don't talk about it. So when we design them, we do design them as solos.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I think there's something. I think there's value in being.
No, I completely agree. I think they should just be labeled.
Speaking
as
of
solos.
monsters and RFC, Mark T had a super chat who said that he loved it. Everything looked great. Can we expect RFC animated tokens in D&D Beyond?
Maybe.
maybe. I mean, I think that's.
I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say no.
Look. I mean, that stuff's cool. I mean, I like minis. You know, I mean,
I'll put it this way: I'm heavily in talks with everyone at WoTC, and it is just a question of resources and time. Yeah. But there is, I don't know how much secret sauce I want to say.
Hey,
I'll give you a little secret sauce.
Don't get yourself in trouble.
Well, I'm not going to get no. This is me. This is my stuff. So one thing you'll notice of our upcoming Battlezoo Bestiary Elemental Storm, which comes out next Tuesday, is that I'm putting in a lot of digital content. We're putting in digital battle maps. We're putting in animated tokens. I put in hundreds of tokens. Like, we are very heavy into digital. And I have been since day one. Like, from day one, we're heavy into digital. And I hate to say it. I mean, A, that's my background. And B, that's where the future lies. And I'd rather spend my resources on, I can either spend the same amount of money to come out with 500 digital tokens, animated tokens, or 10 minis. Like, seriously, that's like kind of the same cost. Yeah, I'm going to go with the animated tokens, because the animated tokens, I think, have a bigger future, and it can be used in so many more ways. And I know people don't want to say, like, we had this discussion last week. It's like, oh, I want to play face-to-face, and I want to be just like, yeah, well, you're a dying breed. I hate to break it to you. It's like, the future is digital.
Yeah.
It just is. And, you know, more people are playing digitally, so I'd rather spend my time and resources digitally. Anyhow.
I talked about this a little bit when I was talking about how, like, I love playing in person. I love miniatures and stuff like that. And I love, you know, I owned a lot of Dwarven Forge, and I always wanted my D&D tabletop experience to look really cool like that, right? With these really cool custom Dwarven Forge terrain pieces and all my really cool minis, pre-painted minis, painted by myself minis. And that happened sometimes. And we spent a lot of money on that stuff, by the way, mind you.
Oh, no. I mean, but the game has changed.
How useful was it?
Oh, well, that's the other thing. And how much space do people have now?
How much space did it take up? How much time did it take? You know, it was, we didn't use it that often, to be honest with you, you know? And so I have said that, you know, in some ways, I don't think Roll20 and Foundry are VTTs, because they're not really what a virtual tabletop should look like. That's not what my D&D tabletop looks like. Yeah. What they showed us today was a little bit more in line with what my tabletop looks like, including when a cool monster shows up and oops, I don't have a cool mini for it, and so you just got to throw some lame like cog on the battlefield.
So we have the starter set, Secret Lair minifig. So funny. I'm not big. I mean, I actually like the minifigs. Supposedly, people who are really big into Lego minifigs were saying something like 8 of those 10 minifigs were reprints from other minifigs. Oh. Like, I don't know if that's true, or subtly changed, because supposedly there was like a mermaid one. I don't know. Like, people that are really minifig pros were like, oh, that one's from this set, that one's from this set. So if anyone out there is a minifig pro that's watching right now, let me know if that's true or not. As for, let's see, Forgotten Realms, Player's Guide, and Campaign Guide, that is 100% a Baldur's Gate. 100% Baldur's Gate.
I will say, I'll give him credit.
That's where that's coming from.
And by the way, there was another super chat. I think we got to Trace, but there was another super chat asking about STLs.
3D. If WoTC would offer STL, if Battlezoo
would ever offer.
I actually do offer STLs. They're on my Kickstarter on the Battlezoo.com. That's how many people buy them. Nobody.
Nobody knows that they're even for sale.
No one buys them. They won't offer STLs because they are not okay.
They're not in the miniature printing business, right?
Right. They're not okay. An STL for miniatures and STL for Unreal Engine is completely different, so they're not the same. So they're non-compatible.
Yeah, the Forgotten Realms thing 100% makes sense. A couple things I'll say about this. Number one, somebody had a great question in chat. Sorry, I don't remember who you were. They said, why is the player guide coming out before the campaign setting? And that's a great question. And the answer is because the player's guide sounds like a splat book. And you know, more new feature, like they made players sound like the most boring group of people they ever could in this presentation, because everything was just like, they made every player sound like they are like an ADHD option starved person who only wants to make characters and choose new feats. Like everything they talked about for players was just like new classes, new feats, new spells, and it's like, okay, calm down. Okay, there's other things to the game. Okay, and coming out with the player's guide before the campaign setting is very strange. Because the implication would be, well, how am I supposed to play in the Forgotten Realms?
They didn't say it was coming out before. They said late 2000.
Look at your timeline.
No. They had the same time. They didn't say when. They don't have a date. Look at that. It says late. They just put that in the order.
Okay.
Because there's more players than there are DMs.
Well, of course. Yeah. I mean, I was going to say, but that's not only that. Splat spells.
Oh yeah. Well, they're going to sell. I hate to break it to you. They're going to sell way more of those players' guides. The campaign guides are going to be there just for people that are more interested in it.
Correct. So. Now, that all being said, I don't know if you were watching. I did. They mentioned it, and I called it out. I said, "Oh, I know what that is." I do like that. What they seem to be saying with this Forgotten Realms campaign setting is that they are going to sort of seemingly focus on the Forgotten Realms is huge, okay, and they're not doing box sets. I was secretly hoping they were going to say they're going to do a box set, but. That sounds like they're going to focus on 5 different regions. Like for number 1, they talked about Baldur's Gate as urban fantasy, which clearly means we have abandoned Waterdeep and we have now fully embraced our Baldur's Gate overlord. So they basically have given up on the northern shore coast.
That's not true.
And they said we're going to do Baldur's Gate. If you want to do urban fantasy, here's Baldur's Gate.
Yes.
If you want to do survival horror, which is new to me. Because I don't know why Icewind Dale is associated with survival horror, but they said, if you want to do survival horror, you have this. If you want to do what sounds to be like classic D&D of you're exploring a mega dungeon, they didn't say what it was, but it implied heavily that it was Myth Draenor. They said we have the Dale Lands region, and then for diversity, here's Calimshan, and also if you want to do Fae and fun like fairy Celtic stuff, here's the Moonshae. So. It sounds like they're really trying to be like, see, look, there's something for everybody in the Forgotten Realms. It's kind of the kitchen sink approach that Galarian uses. They're kind of pigeonholing some of these regions a little bit more than they should be. But I get that it feels like they're trying to use more of the realms than what they had previously done. Somebody said survival horror means Frost Maiden book in Icewind Dale. Rime of the Frost Maiden attempted survival horror and was set in Icewind Dale. I got it. So because one adventure was set there, now that is their survival horror era. I also think part of it is that WoTC knows that survival horror is really popular in RPGs right now, like Mothership RPG and a bunch of stuff. Like maybe they're just trying to cash in on that as well.
So Jason said, ditch the soulless entity of corporate WoTC, play better games. Yeah, well, you know what? You definitely need, in the world of corporations, you have entry level. And, there always is entry level. There's always your Coca-Colas, there's always your McDonald's, there's always going to be an entry level. And then as you get sophisticated, instead of having a Coca-Cola, you might have a Dr. Pepper. I can't think of a good analogy, but you know what I'm saying. It's like this is the gateway, whether you like it or not. And if you don't like D&D, and if you're an old grognard, I hate to say it, they did a pretty good job because
the
Dragon Anthology, that's solid. A starter set that redoes Keep on the Borderlands and the Caves of Chaos.
Yeah, exactly.
A+. Yeah. Forgotten Realms, where they talked about, I don't know, Icewind Dale, like my favorite place ever. Okay, I'm like, everything they listed, I want. So, they weren't like, we're going to be exploring some new, I don't even know. You're like, we're going to be exploring the clouds. I'm like, who cares?
You're 100% right, because, the adventures that people are mentioning in chat, like the Candlekeep Mysteries and the Rime of the Frost Maiden, no doubt. That wouldn't interest me.
Right.
But if you come out with a thing where you're like, we're going back to the Caves of Chaos, reimagine for D&D 2024. Here's Dragon Anthologies, 10 dragons in 10 dungeons, and it's going to be you fighting them. Here's Forgotten Realms. Here's some of your favorite areas, the Dale Lands, Baldur's Gate, whatever. Icewind Dale, the Moonshae, Kalimshan. Like, these are places I know. These are places I jive with. And it's the kind of adventuring that I would really love to do. I love the Dale Lands, by the way. I also love the Moonsea. For those of you keeping track at home, I also love Aglarond and Thay. Yeah,
I mean, that starter sets, by the way. So Mark's not here, but he literally wrote like all the starter sets. Starter sets are incredibly hard to write, and you need all the rules completely 100% complete. In fact, if you think about it, the starter sets for Paizo and Starfinder, they always came out like a year after the books, if not 2 years. Starter sets always come out after the core books. They can't come out at the same time. They never do. Now, starter sets come out for very small RPGs like Mothership and, Free League because they're not that big. I mean, I hate to say it. I mean, they're much smaller, RPGs. Their books are maybe 100 pages, 200. I mean, at the end of the day, the first 3 books for D&D are over 1,000 pages. It's probably like 300,000 words easily. It's probably more like 400,000 words. So that's a huge game. It's simple as that. This is a much bigger game. It's a lot more complex. There's a lot more moving parts. So here we go. Oh, look at that one. You should read that one out. That one's crazy.
Mr. Bandana Head said, for my next 13th Age game, I'm going to put Derek and Steven as key icons. I know that wasn't relevant, but I feel like it had to be said.
Thank you.
Cheers. Mr. Bandana Head, you definitely have to put Steven in sort of a Prince of Shadows type role.
Oh, dude.
And then as for me, someone who sacrifices himself so that the world can continue onward by bringing all the evils of the world unto himself. You can kind of swap me in for the Great Gold Worm. I will accept that burden and responsibility.
So my friend Mike Shapiro, who I'll have on the stream one day, he had a comic strip called Bob the Circle, which sounds really bad, but it was fantastic. And this is my friend who has played all 3 adventure paths from Dungeon Magazine from beginning to end. Like,
nice.
Insane.
That's a lot.
It's ridiculous. In 5th edition, it was redone for 5th. That's how insane that is. Like, I'm like, he plays everything. But he and I went to college together, and then eventually I talked him into putting me in his comic strip, and I was doing karate with him at the time, so I am Kung Fu Steve in his comic. Of course, he has me defeated right away. So, but
there's some pretty good comments here. Michael
There's a lot of good
Dussault
comments.
says, "My question is just where the heck was this kind of product support for the last 10 years? I came in with 5e, and it's so backwards to me that Adventures put out didn't have a guidebook. I think it's because they didn't. 5e's success caught them by surprise. Michael.
No, 5e was 5e at the time had one full-time employee.
Yeah.
And everything was being outsourced to third party. So that's when you came in, by the way.
Right,
like
exactly.
it was not even on life support. It was past life support. Is that the people at WoTC were hiding Dungeons and Dragons from Hasbro because Hasbro was within an inch of selling it off to Fantasy not Free League, to Fantasy Flight to have them run D&D. That's truth. They were very, very close. And even when it came out, I remember that. Like, Kobold Press wrote that first adventure. Like, all those original adventures were written by other companies. They weren't even written by WoTC.
Yeah.
Because that's how close it was to dying. So
Matthew says Flandelver came out before the PhD, and I recall that as well. The starter set came out before the
Rosario. I did karate. I did Tung Sudo. I did Tiger Showman, and I did Kung Fu, like true Kung Fu. I had black belts and all, and I did them for like almost 20 years. So
Jonas says, shout out Suzail and the PDKs, the Purple Dragon Knights. Long live King Azun V. Long may he reign.
Mm-hmm.
But someone had a great question. I didn't know this was new to me. I was kind of confused by this part of the thing. Maybe you can explain, Stephen.
Yeah.
Someone said, was this the first time that we've seen WoTC talking about them apparently partnering with Free League?
Yes, that was the first time I saw Free League. That's new.
That's new.
Well, because Free League, it makes sense for them because the way it works with D&D Beyond is they can put anything they want on there as long as you sign the contract, and they have all these everything they come out with they come out with their own system as well as 5e. So I'm trying to find my books here. Like Vaesen, like they could come out with Vaesen for D&D Beyond. Why not? And so they sign it. I don't know if they could do the One Ring because there's rules on that, but they can do their own, no problem. And here's the thing. And you went to dinner, so you sat down and had dinner with Kyle, who was in the video, the guy with the beard, who's like number 2 in command for the VTT. They want to put, and these are the people in the trenches. They want to put everything on D&D Beyond and the VTT. They want to put Pathfinder. They want to put Shadow Dark. They want to put everything on there.
Big shout out. I mean, that wasn't that long of a presentation.
Yeah.
And they probably spent 30 seconds, and I was shocked to hear them say this in their D&D Direct. Hey, you don't even have to play D&D. You know?
Yeah.
To use this, to use Sigil. Like, it's got dice, it's got little miniatures, it's got toys. Go play, have fun with it. And so to like hear them basically saying like, yeah, like you don't have to play D&D. I thought that was really surprising that they put that in there from and this is marketing.
No, it's going to be free. They tell me that all the time.
Wow, they're saying it's going to be free.
No, it is
free.
free.
Is free. How free is free?
I have the base. I've seen the base version, and it is free of the VTT.
Free for now. Freemium.
It's freemium. Yeah, but you know what? That's better than that. Okay, that is way better than most of these. Which is, look, it's free, and the base tools are free. But then, if you want to integrate it and have your games, you have to get D&D Beyond. But you know what? That's fine, okay? I mean, what more do you want? What do you expect them to do? Give you everything for free? They're not going to do that.
I don't want everything for free. I just want them to tell me what it's going to cost and then charge me a fair market value and then let me pay for that.
Well, right now, it is free. This is what I understand. It's going to be free. There is a collection where you will be able to then, if you subscribe to D&D Beyond, it integrates into D&D Beyond, and the monsters are in there with the very basics. And when I mean the basics, I mean the name, the alignment, the saves, the stats, hit points, armor class. I think that's it. Okay. It's not even the attacks. Like nothing's in there. It's very basic. And then if you want all the extra stuff like the attacks and special abilities and all that, that's tied into D&D Beyond. Okay. So I'm pretty sure that's how it works. At least the last time I saw it, that's how it works. And that's on purpose, so that if you want to use this as just a very basic, almost open-ended source, you can. And then if you want to integrate it into D&D, you have to subscribe. So, right, the base VTT, most content won't be free. But it's not even... Yeah, but that is really no different than how most of these systems work.
Yeah, I mean, if that's fine, if it's truly free and it's just like, hey, you have to pay for this tile set.
Well, this is it. You're not paying for the VTT. You're paying for, okay, you want to have D&D Beyond? You pay for D&D Beyond and it works with the VTT. If you want to buy specific monsters or specific adventures, then you buy them and then they work with the VTT, which is, by the way, how VTTs work. So there's nothing crazy going on there.
Let me also say something which is kind of unpopular. It's kind of a little bit of a tangent, but like I have a monthly subscription. You cannot buy Adobe Photoshop anymore. Okay.
Correct.
You have to subscribe to their Creative Cloud, and it's $50 a month if you want the whole Creative Cloud suite. And a lot of people hate that. And like there's options out there like Affinity Photo and other stuff where you can just buy the one-time license. But here's the thing. I will say this, in my personal opinion, Adobe is charging a subscription model. But let me tell you something. They come out with a lot of new features. They come out with a lot of updates. Every time I go to open up InDesign, almost too many.
No, seriously, too many.
No, you're absolutely right. Almost too many. Dice Media Group says Adobe is $89 a month. I don't know what I'm paying.
I'm paying $39 a month. I don't know.
I think I'm paying like $59 or $55.
I'm paying $39 a month, and I got everything.
Maybe I'm grandfathered in. Yeah, I have everything anyway too. But my point is, they come out with all these features all the time, new features, beta features, testing features. Like you feel like you're getting it. Now, what I contrast that to is subscription-based services, and this like reminds me of like the old like Roll20 and stuff, where like you're paying a subscription and they haven't touched that website in 10 years. And you're like, okay, so what am I paying for? Like, I mean, I've long ago did I pay for your infrastructure? Long ago did I get what a thing. And so, so for me, Adobe, yes, I would prefer it if it wasn't subscription. But I feel like they are constantly innovating. They're constantly trying to create more value for me as a customer, and I appreciate that. So that's one of the reasons why I haven't canceled my Adobe subscription.
So anyhow, once again, do like and subscribe and leave a comment in the chat, and I will give out this book. I'm going to do that pretty soon because my son's hungry.
Is your son grown? Oh, that you guys are going out to eat.
No, he's going to get it for him. We have to get it. Well, actually, he can get it. You're right. By the way,
no, that's fine. I mean, I only had my lunch
17.
break, so.
By the way, here's a big thing.
To work.
Wait, two things. Yeah, me too. In the VTT, they did say, "Oh, I would like to fight a robot," and everyone, of course, saw that robot was Optimus Prime because everyone's like, "Oh, it's Optimus Prime! It's Optimus Prime!" I missed that. Oh yeah, it was Optimus Prime, definitely. The other thing is that Danger in Dunbarrow Adventure.
The module.
You know who wrote that? Kelsey Dion.
Oh.
Which I don't know why they don't publicize that, baby. I mean,
they didn't use anybody's names, yeah.
I know. I was like, you might want to she's kind of the hot stuff right now. You might have kind of want to use her name. They bought it from her. She wrote it a long time ago. I have the whole story. Her and I were talking about it, but
Highlander, I don't get to decide. It's random, but I do like your comment. I think Derek is a little harsh on D&D, which again, I'm not. I like D&D. I would like to get the new book to find stuff.
I can tell everyone had a meeting because right at 1:00 we lost like 50 people. So I think everyone's like, "Oh crap, I got a meeting," and they had to hang up. Or something.
For me, I mean, I also have to get back to work here.
Yeah, I got stuff to do, but.
I mean, look.
Before
I'm excited about it. I wish WoTC would stop shooting themselves in the foot, and I wish that people really do seem to want to play their game, and the people making it definitely seem genuine. And I think it'll be interesting, and it's going to continue to be the number one game for the foreseeable future. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I will say this: go play D&D. Go pick up the 2024. Like, comment, subscribe. Try to get your thing. Go kickstart Elemental Storm. Elemental Storm. Get a free copy and get a good book. But don't forget, look at Steven's shelves. Look at my shelves. There's a lot of games out there, folks. There's a lot of games out there. Not just D&D, but not just D20. Believe it or not, there are other games out there. You should try them. You don't have to try them all. I have too many. I'll admit that. But, try them out.
All right. My son is asking me to order Chopped here.
Meanwhile, we're quite the stream. We're just ordering stuff.
We're ordering stuff. Wait. I'm trying to find. There was one thing. So you asked me if I was in the video when they were going through and showing the lines of people. No, at least I don't think I was. But I did see some people we both recognized. There was a picture, and I'm guarantee it was Justin Alexander who was holding the book. And I was like, no, that's Justin. So
I think I saw somebody wearing his shirt. I don't know if it was
No,
him.
it was. I think it was him because I know what he looks like, obviously.
I will say you should probably do your drawing before we wrap up.
Well, right before I do the drawing, we're going to do a little ad. Here we go.
Listen up, Dungeon Masters. Your players are falling asleep at the table. What? Your wizard is going to use catapult to throw rocks at a monster again? How about instead of that, the wizard covers their body in rocks and hurls themselves? Now you're thinking like a badass using Battlezoo Bestiary, Elemental Storm. Filled with over 150 innovative elemental monsters, new elemental spells, and the monster parts system, allowing you to craft weapons, armor, and magic items from the creatures you slay, infusing elemental magic into them with 20 unique elements. Sure, there's classics like air, earth, fire, and water, but there's even weirder elements like music, space, and time. Doctor Who, Doctor You.
Wait, I'm a player, not a dungeon master. Why should I give a shit?
Well, Yahtzee, how about a brand new character archetype, the Monster Hunter? Climb on creatures, target specific body parts, and weaken them. Or just grab a small monster and use their attacks against the big one.
Ooh, you sold me at big ones.
Best of all, this archetype can fit along any class. Fighter Monster Hunter? Duh. Monk Monster Hunter? Sure. Wizard Monster Hunter? Well, it'll set the difficulty up, but go right ahead. Elemental Storm is filled with over 250 pages packed with stunning illustrations, detailed rules on the monster parts system, and so much more for your Pathfinder 2e and D&D 5th edition games. Click on the link below or head on over to kickstarter.rollforcombat.com to secure your copy of Battlezoo Bestiary Elemental Storm today, and turn your table from slow and crunchy to fast and furious.
Buffalo chicken wrap.
All right, buffalo chicken wrap. You got it. It's like all those people left during the ad read. I guess you don't want your book. Okay. Hey, man. So here we go. I'm picking the free... wrong book. The free...
That book isn't out yet.
I know, the old one's not out yet. I picked David Fig. David, are you here still?
David, are you here? David Fig?
David Fig. David Fig. David... While I order my my salad. David Fig, are you here? If you're here, Dave.
Yeah, because you gotta be there, right?
You gotta be here, man. If you're not here, David Fig, F-E-I-G. Man, he's gonna be upset if he comes back here and then realized
Listen, that's the way things. That's the
yeah. Well, you all left. You shouldn't have left.
The way things go.
That's too bad. David, I'm gonna say David going once.
David going once.
I have backups.
I'm sure.
Let's see, David. Yeah, I'm giving away a free player's handbook. Bueller. All right, David. Sorry, Dave. You're out.
All right.
Tim Sedgwick. Tim, are you here? Tim Sedgwick. Are you here, Tim?
Was that their ID?
It's their name. I'm literally just calling out your name in the chat. So, Tim Sedgwick. Tim's here. Tim, guess what? You might not have come in first place, but in this case...
But you get a gold medal anyway.
You get the gold medal anyhow. You won, Tim. Tim, this is what you need to do. Just write me at... contact@rollforcombat.com now. Send me your address, and just send it to me, Tim. And if you have a link to your YouTube account, just send that to me too, so I can double check.
There you go. Make sure that you're the right Tim.
Well, yeah, I just have to double check.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah. Just send that to me, and I'll try to do that now.
Contact@rollforcombat.com.
Yeah, contact.
Send it right away, Tim. You got to send it right away so we can ship it out to you today.
Yeah. I'll ship it out to you today.
Fantastic.
And would like to thank David. Poor David. David Fig, man.
Tim, I dedicate this player's handbook to David.
Sign it. David Fig.
So everybody is
Tim.
Yeah. I got some giveaways I got to do on my stream. I got a bunch of books I got to give away, including a bunch of fire damaged books. I have literally
oh my god, you're like, support the Derek Fire Fund.
I mean, no, I just feel horrible because the books are fine. They are just, they were in a
fire.
They were in a fire.
Literally.
They just got, literally. But I mean, it's a tragic to take I literally have copies of every single Pathfinder AP, that was donated to me. Like I have 50 plus PF2 and 4E books, and it just, sure, they might be a little blackened around the edges. They have honestly, they're not even dirty. It's more of just like that kind of lingering kind of a little bit of smoky peaty flavor. People pay top dollar for that. If
it's like
Scotch.
They have it's patina.
Yeah, they've developed a nice little patina.
A little hue, a little tinge to it.
All right, awesome. Well, congrats, Tim, and thanks everybody.
Are you doing a stream tonight?
Joining. I don't know. I may. It honestly comes down to I need to finish all my work. I need to bathe my dogs. I need to pack. I need to do a couple other things at home before I leave, and I need to run the bank to get cash for Vegas. So if I can get all that done,
Well,
in the next,
bank, I hate to break it to you,
hours.
they actually have banks. They might have an ATM machine or two in Vegas. So I hear.
Yeah, but then there's like a daily withdrawal limit, and
well,
I just
in
like to have
Vegas,
all
not
my
only
cash.
that, it's like here, it's like, oh, you want to take money out? It's like, $3.95 to take out money. In Vegas, it's like, oh, you want to take money out? Oh, there's a convenience fee of $10. It's like it's like triple or something. It's like, come on, really?
It's better than the convenience fee at the strip clubs where it's like $20 or $30.
Well, guess
it's
what?
Crazy.
If you are high enough, that's the best thing of my bank account. All my fees are covered.
So are mine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Up to a certain limit.
No, mine are unlimited. And every month it shows, I get a little thing. It's like fees like $50 plus 50. They add it right back. I was like,
mine is like they'll recomp me up to like $100 a month or something.
oh,
other
yeah.
ATM
Mine's
fees, but anyway.
unlimited. But
Good stuff.
That's like my favorite thing. Because whenever I see convenience fee, it's like, dude, will you pay this fee? I'm like, yes, because I'm not paying it. The bank's paying it. Thank you very much.
Okay.
So Tim, his name was Tim. Have you heard that one before? I bet you've never heard that joke before.
Some call me Tim.
Tim. You have won this book, and I'm gonna go put it in the mail right now. And how about that? All you have to do is watch this. But guess what? If you're still watching, if you leave a comment why you want this book, I'm going to give another one next week for free. How about that? How that? Crazy. And if you back the pre-order, not only for the backer kit, Kickstarter, not only will you get the dice locket for free, not only will you get animated tokens, a limited number, not the full amount, and a unique battle map with variants for $1. Okay, $1 freaking dollar, and you might win a book. Let's go to KickstarterWorldForCombat.com. I'm like giving this crap away. I'm giving it away, Derek.
I know. You're too generous.
I'm too nice. I'm too good. All right, well, we didn't get 8,000 people like last time that I did this, but 470 is pretty good. That's a pretty good stream. It's not bad. Not bad. Considering I think the live one only was up to 2,000, 1,000.
Yeah, the live one only had a few thousand. So.
Yeah, so we're siphoning them away. All right. Well, I got another stream tomorrow, but that one's with Mark. Mark's too busy working.
I will be enjoying myself at the Cosmopolitan. It's the first time I'm staying there.
Out and about.
Out and about. Awesome. Well, thanks for having me on. It's fun to hang out with you for lunch.
Yeah.
Enjoy your lunch. And everybody who hopped in, thank you for joining us. And I might be live tonight if you want to come check out and hang out with us. I don't think we'll have a strong topic tonight. We might just do a general hangout night if we get a stream out there. So
okay. All right. I'll talk to everyone later.
Peace.